Hello everyone, Switched over here. I decided to do a review about Frenemies. I mean, this one is so wow. This one was so freaking hilarious episode. I mean, why would they never made this kind of episode much earlier in the seasons? I mean, title itself, Frenemies. Yeah, that kind of understand. Seeing Terek, Chrysalis, and Kosugo working together, cause I read about this title and some short information about this episode much earlier, seeing how they had to work together, that Grugar sends his legion of doom, or his minions, to find, at least to work on a mission so they can work together, since Sombra, as is a two-part episode, the beginning of the end, doesn't even want to work with Grugar. Turns sends him to be banished again. But before I actually start with my opinions about this particular episode, I made a video that recently what I thought about Grugar's big plan. I thought that he could have been his big plan. All of this must have been about his spell that Gusty the Great took from him, and that's other that the royal princesses or that Gusty had hidden the bell somewhere, and I was right. I was totally on it. What are the odds that I made a fair video, perhaps maybe a week or almost 1 or 2 weeks before this particular episode was even aired on TV, that based on my belief that Grugar summoned these great villains, minus Sombra, to find the bell for him. And I was so right on that, on the spot. I mean, I couldn't even imagine myself when I first heard and when I saw this episode, seeing how Grugar at the early episode in distance, watching in his orb at the bell. And after hearing all of the Chrysalis, Tyrak, and even Consaglo was arguing about anything, since they was so bored. But then Grugar was so tired about this, so he sent them away to find a mission to work together, and as surely they did. But it wasn't exactly what they expect. I mean, Grugar didn't want to make this to actually happen. Aldes, I mean, sure, even if that he wanted them to work together, did he? No. I mean, he sends his legions of doom to become allies. Unfortunately, his plan works too well to almost become friends. But he also said he doesn't trust anyone, not even themselves. So, what happens to all of this? I mean, Koseglow doesn't even trust anyone except for herself. I mean, he wants them to summon this. Well, at least we saw an area, also called Mount Everhoof, was some sort of place, a mountain, where his spell was taken. This includes that the bell contains rest of his power, because without it he's half powered. And I mean, this could end up something other than Kosuglo wanted to make help, or at least wanted to make sure that both of them work together, but all of them wants to work by themselves. They didn't even want to work anyone. Terek wants to himself, trusts his muscles, and that Chrysalis trusts any her magic. But Glow could see the potential of them being working together to find this mysterious spell for Grugar. But even if that is the truth, most of this episode is so based on how this that Grugar was so getting frustrated seeing how this minions one wasn't even one that could work together. I mean, sure, anyone doesn't even want to trust him. He wants to get rid of Twilight and her friends, but doing so in its current state, it won't have any chance. Even if the elements of harmony is gone. Well, kind of gone, but still. He wants to have some sort of dominion that his trustful, or at least his minions, to work together so they would have a chance to fight against the main six. But I don't know exactly what this is going to happen, if this was even wanna go work. I mean, sure enough, they had to work. Otherwise, one standing by himself would not have any chance to even seeing how much Glow worked, tried to get up to the mountain of the Mount Everhoof, but was most stopped by the Guardian, the Rusty Bucket. But emotionally his hurt seeing her temper was shortened every single time. But after that Terek and Glow and Chrysalis realized one by himself can never reach the top of the mountain by just himself, because the cave itself where the bell was located had some sort of barrier, a magical barrier, and no one were able to get through it. Not even Terek. I mean, even if they absorbed the magic from Chrysalis, with even that amount of power she contained, she, well, he can only blast a hole through the barrier big enough for just Glow to get inside, but not any of the others. That would require a lot more power for at least for just Terek to walk in and out. But even doing so, he would be too big for even to enter the cave, but he would be probably strong enough for anyone to enter the cave without hesitating, just walk in, take the bell, and walk out, and he would not have to hesitate for otherwise. But I don't know for sure. But ever since they didn't want to do anything, work to just for themselves. But with Glow's realization and considering work together, they might help and work it out. And sure enough, they did. All the efforts, all the beliefs that they by themselves would be strong enough, or at least were not necessary to be needing any help from any others. But if they work together as a team, they will find a way, and they worked out, and they fought, and found the bell, and they made it out of the cave. But at almost to the end there, seeing they almost believed that they were starting to end up being friends, and that Chrysalis, and I mentioned this, she believed that friendship is a disease. What? Friendship is not a disease, Chrysalis. And she even mentioned that Twilight and her friends know that Starlight corrupted her minions. I don't know about that part. I believe strongly Chrysalis is the one who has corrupted the changelings. But I know that Tirek, when he was just looking how much Chrysalis and Kosogo was working to find a way up the top of the mountain, but he remained in the forest, making a chair to relax so he can learn from their mistakes, so he can easily get up there and take the bell and bring back Grugar. But after all this, they actually work together as a team. Once by all enemy by themselves is a very well strong foe, or at least a strong enemy, but all of them together, it might be worth something more mentioned. Could they all three together be able to defeat the main six? Well, there is a slight chance that they could, but if Tirek had more power, if he had been able to absorb more magic from any more opponents, perhaps then they would probably have some or small slight chance overhand, over advantage against the main six. But if they had all the royal sisters, like Luna, Celestia, Cadence, Twilight, and even Shining Armor, Stall Swirl, and all the main six together, perhaps then they would be able to defeat Tirek or the others, but there is a chance that Tirek could easily capture one of those opponents and drain the magic quickly, like that, and the song go on to the next one and next until he's unstoppable. Together they could be almost like an unstoppable force, but by alone self, no. They will be easily defeated. But I may have been off topic here, but Chrysalis, at least that we can also see in this episode, part of the story that Gusty the Great stole the bell in from, at least from Grogar, but seeing how much they work together to find an answer, and even seeing some new creatures in this particular episode, this almost like the same, almost like a bison snake creature, almost like part of Greece mythology, Medusa, that kind of snake creature. But I cannot say for sure about this particular episode. Why would they suddenly work together now? And if they did, but they actually worked together, and we even saw a small brief moment about the rock bird, even if that was Chrysalis. And we saw that they managed to get the bell, but they all realized that Grogar is a very powerful being, and that giving the bell to him could end up. How would not be sure that he would grant them the things that they need or they want? He could easily just send them back. That he could easily drain the magic from Tirek, send him and Chrysalis and Kozugel to Tartarus for life again, and that without their help, he will easily be able to defeat the main six and the Celestial Luna. But would they be able to understand? Yes, there's a possibility. It seems that Tirek, Chrysalis, and Kozugel realized that even that he said that he doesn't even trust anyone, not even his own minions, that he would probably just get rid of them after he gets what he wants. So they actually hid the bell again in the lair. But here's this one thing. If they actually brought the bell itself back to his lair, won't there be any chance that he can sense its power, or at least its presence, in his own lair? I mean, if he can sense this power in the cave, or at least as his home, let's say it, would that be a very has a good answer for that? I mean, would that be even a reasonable act to bring the most thing that Grugar wants to his own lair if he can sense his power? I doubt that was one of the smartest things to do, no. If I was them, I'd probably hid it somewhere else, only where they know for sure they cannot be found by Grugar. But he said the bell could not be destroyed. So why would I just bring the bell somewhere else and probably, I don't know, throw it in a volcano and let the bell sinking down to below the lava, the volcano itself? But since the bell cannot be destroyed or not cannot be taken apart in pieces and split up in piece by piece and sent across the Crystia, that would be harder for him to find it. But there is one thing about Grugar that I can't put my finger on it. What is his biggest plan Edith so far? We all know that from my video about the theory that he wants the bell and to be found it, which he has, and except for one part, he doesn't have it. So he has not the bell, but they found it and brought it back, not given it to him. So will they ever give it to him? Will they use it themselves, be able to defeat Grugar, and later defeat the main six and take over? But I hopefully believe they never do that. But if that Grugar do find the bell in his lair and realize his minions had found it and brought it back, even if they lied to him straight in his face, saying they lied, that they didn't found the bell, that they failed, and that he believes then if they found the bell, they probably was waiting for the right moment to use it against him. So I hopefully see any possibility for what can happen in this particular episode. I mean, the part of the episode of Frenemies has had so many great moments. I mean, come on, this was probably one of the best episodes in season 9 so far. But if you fans or viewers have your own opinion about this particular episode, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, I will give this rating as an A+. I mean, wow. It was one of the best episodes of season 9 and probably one of the best ever of My Little Pony Friendship Magic. Like, come on. Frenemies and these three guys, come on. Well, everyone, this was Fish Elbow, over and out.